All right, so you can listen to this practice wherever it is you find yourself today. You can be sitting down or laying down or even stretching and doing things if that's what you got to do. But if you would like to listen to this in a still position, then feel free to just take all the time you need to arrive there. So yeah, if you would like to listen in a still position, just take all the time you need to arrive there. Just do your best to let your body move you. And don't think about the movements at all, but let your body find those positions that feel good and follow those yummy sensations you get. So maybe some neck rolls feels good, or some side body bends, cat-cow motions with the spine, torso twists, any combination of all of those, or anything entirely different. Just whatever feels good in your bones and your muscles and your joints right now. Good morning, Greg. And if what feels best to you right now or at any time is stillness, then honoring that need for stillness whenever that feels like the right thing for you. And there's no rush whatsoever. You can continue to move even throughout this practice at any time when you need to. You're not messing anything up if you do that. But if you are feeling ready to come to a still position, then you may do so. Just feeling that the spine is nice and straight in whatever pose you've chosen. And if you're in a space where you feel safe and would like to, you can allow the eyes to gently close at any time if they aren't already. And now mark your arrival into your practice today, into your body today, with a full, intentional cleansing breath. As you welcome in a long and slow inhale in through the nose, and just let yourself fill up to every corner and edge of you as you just pause for a moment once you're full, to sit in that sense of fullness. And without straining, as you need to, slowly let all of that go. Exhaling bit by bit, as you just gently pull the navel toward the spine at the bottom of your exhale to really push that last bit of stagnant air out of you. As you again pause for just a moment to now sit in that sense of emptiness. And allow your next breath to come to you as it is needed. And so you can breathe just like this for as many rounds as feels good and helpful for you. Just breathing in this exaggerated way, exaggerating the 4 parts of your breath. So not thinking about the length of your inhales, exhales, and pauses on either side, but just letting every step of your breath be exaggerated, whatever that means for you right now. So when the body feels like you're full, when you would naturally stop inhaling, seeing if you can open yourself up a tiny bit more to take in a little bit more air and get as full as possible. And when you would naturally roll over to your exhale, seeing if you can hold off on that for an extra moment to stay a bit more intentionally in that fullness. And then as you exhale, really pushing that last bit of air out of you and truly empty yourself as you again pause for an extra moment than you might normally before you allow the breath to come back into the body. So we are consciously slowing down the 4 parts of the breath. The inhale, the pause, the exhale, and the pause. not holding yourself to any expectation of how long you think these breaths and pauses should be, but just letting them be a little bit bigger than what your first instinct is. Knowing that this will be different each and every time you do a practice like this, because we are constantly changing. So just allowing yourself to be, allowing your breath to be exactly as it is today. Reminding yourself that this is not a thinking or a doing process, but one of listening and observing. And so you can continue to breathe in this way for as long as it feels good and helpful for you. But at any point, if you haven't already, you can release this guidance over your breath altogether. And allow yourself to step almost back and up in the mind into that role of the witness or the observer. And seeing if you can simply witness the fact that your body is breathing, rather than having any direct control over the rhythm or depth of the breath. But remembering how our breath is our one bodily function that can be either voluntary or automatic. So letting go of that voluntary guidance that we had over the breath, and now simply observing the automatic process that is your body breathing you. Remembering how your body does breathe perfectly even when you are in a deep sleep. Your body functions perfectly every moment of your life, just enough to keep you alive. And this is without any of your doing or direction. It is just a gift of this life and this body. So seeing if you can just observe those processes. Taking on that same energy you might feel when you are observing anything else in nature, any other force of nature. Like when you are laying on the beach and just watching the waves roll up along the shoreline. Not trying to change anything about the size or speed of the waves, but just watching as they come and go. And letting your awareness make its way to the muscles of your face. And if you were to catch a glimpse of yourself in a mirror right now, noticing any expression that could be resting on the face, even with the eyes closed, maybe seeing this expression, feeling any tension in the muscles, and just making note of any emotions that could be communicated by this resting expression. Just making a note of how you are starting your practice today. Maybe the brow is furrowed or the jaw is tense. Maybe the chin is tight or the nostrils flared. And from that point of awareness, we can then choose to allow these areas to soften a little bit more. So with your attention on your jaw. You can just let your jaw hang into place. Maybe opening and closing the mouth a few times to just find that center placement for the jaw. Its natural resting zone. And allowing your tongue to release from the roof of the mouth. And your lips to just rest softly on one another. Feeling a general wave of release and softness in your whole mouth. And you can naturally allow that to spread as you feel the chin soften a bit more, the nostrils relaxing a bit deeper, and letting that spread outward and upward as your cheeks relax a bit further, even the ears softening. The eyelids, all of those little muscles along your lash line that scrunch up when you squint, feeling those soften as you just let the corners of your eyes get a little bit wider, simply with this release. Letting your gaze be soft wherever it is you happen to be looking. Whether that be at the world around you or at the world within you. The backs of the eyelids, or maybe peering up into the forehead, or even rolling back further and peering into the skull. Wherever it is your eyes happen to be looking, just letting your vision glaze over so that you are seeing everything rather than one specific thing, but resting in your sense of sight. As you just allow your eyeballs to rest in the sockets. Allow your eyebrows to soften a bit deeper as the hairline releases back. And you just allow your forehead to be wide and deep. Feeling that sense that the muscles of the face are ungripping from the bones and releasing back into the support of your skin. As you just communicate to your body, your muscles, a sense of trust with your own anatomy. Trusting that when you let go, when you release, everything will be held exactly where it needs to be. You do not need to hold yourself in any particular way. You do not need to make yourself smaller or lighter or bigger, but you can just let yourself be exactly as you are and take up as much space as you do. As you just allow that wave of trust with your own body to naturally cascade now down the whole scalp, down the back and sides of the neck, as you just let your shoulders become a little heavier, your arms becoming heavier, and your hands softening even more. As you just let that space between your shoulders and your ears get a little bit longer. And and noticing where your heart is located in relationship to the shoulders. Maybe the heart is almost curling back into a protective cave of the shoulders. And if that's the case, just letting your awareness come to the very tips of your shoulders and feel like they're just being drawn in opposite directions. As your collarbones broaden and your heart sits in this proud position between the upper arms, more toward the front of the body. And allowing yourself to soften into this proud posture as your chin tucks slightly down, allowing for the full length of the back of your neck and the bottom of your rib cage tucking slightly down to allow for the full length of your spine and lower back. And allowing all the muscles across your abdomen to soften and almost hug the organs in the belly. Allowing each gentle breath that your body takes to make its way into your lower belly. Letting each gentle breath be deep and cleansing. Be almost a natural filter for the body. Allowing your pelvic floor to lengthen and widen into the surface that's beneath you. As you feel the glutes relax even more. And all the muscles down both legs, both feet, and all the toes. Just rolling off of the bones. Even if it's just for a split second, feeling a deep sense of stillness and acceptance with exactly where your body is right now. A sense of trust with the earth that is beneath you and the force of gravity all around you. Knowing that when you let go, you will be held exactly where you need to be. You will not be crushed and you will not float away, but you will be held in this perfect placement. You can gradually funnel more and more of your awareness into your heart. As you just sync up your own awareness with the rhythm that is beating in your heart. And you can always place one or both hands on top of the heart if you have trouble feeling that beat, just to encourage that feeling from the outside as well. But listening closely to this steady rhythm that is your beating heart. The steady background beat to every single moment of your life. Remembering the magic and the gift that this heart truly is. And how this heart has been pumping life and love into you from before you were even breathing air. From the time you were in your mother's womb up to this exact moment. And this heart will continue to work hard to keep you alive for as long as you are in this body. And the fact that you have this heart, that you have this body and this life means that you are worthy of it. And this heart is your own personal, direct line of connection to whatever source lets all of our hearts beat. Whatever you believe that to be. You are directly connected to that. You are connected to the source that all of life comes from, simply because you are also alive. And you do not need any translator or anyone to facilitate that connection, because you have your own connection through your own body. And oftentimes in our lives, there will be many layers of fear and doubt and just pain stacked on top of our deep sense of truth and our instincts. But these truths are still there, just like the sun. The sun is always shining, even in the middle of night, even on cloudy, stormy days. It is still there shining. And so is that deepest part of you. Even on those days where you can't even see it and you can't feel the warmth, it is still there. You are still here. And there's nothing wrong with you when you are feeling down and sad and maybe like you're unclear with yourself or the world, or like you're doubting yourself in your journey. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you at all. That just means that you are human and you are living the human experience, which includes a lot of pain and suffering. We are not meant to escape all of the pain and suffering that is in life. We are simply meant to experience it, experience life in its full contrast of experiences and emotions and feelings. And a great and helpful analogy that I always share for this is one that comes from Hellenistic Astrology, where the moon is the representation of our physical body. Just like the moon, our body is simply matter. It does not have its own light, but it does reflect the light of our soul, just like the moon reflects the light from the sun. We are animated and brought to life by the soul that is within this body, that entered this body and will leave this body one day. But the moon at times is fully illuminated by the sun, and it is a full moon. It is bright and it shines light for others in the darkness. It is whole and connected. And there are other times where that exact same moon is what we call a new moon, where it's in the shadows and it's not reflecting any light whatsoever. It's almost hiding. And the moon is meant to move through all of the phases, every phase between the new moon and the full moon. It is not meant to stop and be full all of the time. And neither are you. We're just simply meant to move through the phases with as much grace and patience as we can. And so if you do feel like a new moon, if you feel like you're in the shadows right now, let yourself be there and release that extra heaviest layer of resistance that all of us put on ourselves. Sometimes the greatest source of our suffering is the constant voices in our head of wanting things to be different. Or I just want to feel better. I just want to feel motivated. I just want to feel anything different than what I'm currently feeling. And if even just for a split second you can let go of those wants and desires and just simply allow yourself to feel how you feel, with the knowledge that this feeling is temporary, just like every feeling. It can make it a little bit more bearable to make it through the hard points in our life, to make it through those periods of time where we will suffer, because we are human. And just allow yourself to feel exactly as you feel, rather than trying to shove love and light on top of everything and find gratitude for the pain, even in the midst of the pain. And just simply let yourself be in pain, if that's where you're at. Let yourself cry and scream and do any emotional releases that you need to do. Because that is how we move on from feelings. Not by shoving them down deeper and shoving more things on top of it, where it will only echo louder and control us more insidiously, but by looking at it and allowing them to arise and therefore release from us, so that we can move on to the next feelings. It is safe for you to feel what you are feeling. You will not be crushed. You will not float away. You will not drown. The proof is in your life. You have made it through so many difficult things just to be where you are right now. And you will continue to do so. And this can be a great comfort to you if you are feeling really bad. Just knowing that it is temporary. That's the only thing we know for sure, is that everything changes, especially how we feel. So you can let yourself fully feel it and do all the things you need to do to comfort yourself and not feel guilty for that, because it will be over. It will be over soon. And good times are on the way, always. And that same fact can also be great permission for you to feel all the good stuff you are feeling. Maybe you're in a place in life that is wonderful and magical right now, and you are allowed to soak all of that in, to make the absolute most of it, and release any guilt that you may feel for feeling so good when you know that others are suffering. And instead use all of that goodness that you are feeling to shine a light for those who are suffering, to remind them that good times are on the way. Trusting that when you are in darkness, there will be someone else to shine a light for you. And we can make all of our life journeys a lot more bearable by being there for one another, by reminding each other of these deep truths in life. And just have so much patience with yourself and all those around you. So much compassion for all of the bad things that you've survived just to be here. And give yourself that same love and appreciation that you'd give to anyone else who you love. And know that you are worthy of that. So you can continue to feel whatever is here for you to feel. As you just listen to the following words written by young Pueblo in his book, Inward. And just allow anything that feels like it resonates with you to soak in a little bit deeper and not worrying about the rest. You have walked through fire, survived floods, and triumphed over demons. Remember this the next time you doubt your own power. She believed that the damage to her mind and heart was permanent, until she met wisdom, who taught her that no pain or wound is eternal, and that all can be healed, and that love can grow even in the toughest parts of her being. The mind is a series of patterns. If we wish to change ourselves, we should create new habits. When we build new habits, we are creating a new life. A body is a field of moving energy and a system of information. As life continues its fluctuations, we tend to gather attachments, burdens, and sorrows. We hold them so tightly that they become embedded in the body, causing blockages and disruptions in the flow of our system, which can limit access to the best possible version of ourselves. This sometimes manifests as ailments or disease, as well as a lack of belief in our own power and a lack of understanding of the universe. When we use healing techniques, the body begins releasing these knots of attachment, allowing our field of energy to return to balance and move more freely and powerfully. This causes changes in our body. Not just physical changes, but immaterial and internal changes as well, such as believing in oneself more, the growth of love, and the aspiration to grow into wisdom. Really, there is no separation between the mind and the body. They move together as one under the leadership of our mental contents. A sign of growth is being okay with not being okay. There is an important difference between dwelling in misery and understanding that on the path of healing, things will come up that sometimes cause us to feel the old emotions and patterns that we are working on letting go. There is great power in honoring the reality of our current emotions, not feeding them or making them worse, but simply recognizing that this is what has arisen in this present moment and that this will also change. When we create this space within ourselves, a space of calmness that is undisturbed by the storm tends to pass more quickly. Practicing such profound honesty within ourselves helps in all facets of internal and external life. There is no real freedom without honesty, and without honesty, there can be no peace of mind. Healing ourselves isn't about constantly feeling bliss. Being attached to bliss is a bondage of its own. Trying to force ourselves to be happy is counterproductive because it suppresses the sometimes tough reality of the moment, pushing it back within the depths of our being instead of allowing it to arise and release. Healing ourselves is the personal movement we embark on to let go of the conditioning that limits our freedom. In this journey, there will undoubtedly be moments of bliss and of difficulty. Real happiness and wisdom grow from the reality we experience, not from the fleeting moments of bliss that we feel. So just take the next few moments to allow every single word you've heard today to settle. As if every word were a little speck of glitter in a snow globe. And you are that snow globe, and now is the time where we set you down and let the air clear. And trusting that anything you heard today that really resonated with you or struck a chord with you in some way. Trusting that that feeling can sometimes come when we hear on the outside what a part of us already knows to be true on the inside. And so allowing those truths to be enhanced within you, so that you feel a little bit more confidence to act on your own intuition. Trusting that on a deep level, you already know exactly what it is you need to do, if that is anything at all. And there is not one person out there who will be able to teach you more about your life, about who you are as a person, your passions, your purpose, than what quiet time with yourself will be able to teach you. And so you never have to give that power away to anyone else. And you can reclaim that power at any time. You are your own best teacher. And so if it feels like something you would like to do today, you can just let your hands find each other in a prayer position toward heart center. As you just feel this contact of your palms to one another, and let your heart lift toward your thumbs as your thumbs press back toward your heart. As you tune in once again to this unique rhythm that is your own heartbeat. Just take a final deep and full breath into the body, filling up the most you have today. And as you exhale, letting go of anything you're ready to let go of, as you allow the head to gently bow. Taking this moment to bow to the source of energy that allows all of our hearts to beat, whatever you believe that to be. And bowing to everyone else in this space who has listened and completed this practice right alongside you. And finally, bowing to yourself for choosing to show up today and taking the time out of your busy life for this pure act of self-love and self-care. And may this act continue to heal you through the rest of your days and nights, and may bring the same love and understanding to everything you do and to everyone that you see. Thank you.